Hello everybody, welcome to Red Tool House. On today's video, we could possibly call it part 4 of our boar corral build, although I'm not really actually going to be working on it directly. Today is all about getting the materials we need to do our corral walls. So today we're going to be harvesting some poplar to put on the mill. So let me show you what I've got. So I'm standing here on the hillside. That'll be part of our new boar pasture. The boars will be over here. This will be possibly a second paddock, depending on how I divide it with the line coming down the valley. And you can see the bridge, the pig hoof bridge, trotter bridge is what I should call it, shouldn't it? Down here, and we set our poles earlier this weekend to make up our corral walls. You can see, kind of see those there by the side by side. But in this area here, I talked about this briefly in one of the earlier videos in this series, is there's some trees here that are mill worthy, ready to go in the mill. They're poplars, so they're not producing protein for the pasture, the silvopasture designs that we try to incorporate. And getting them on the ground now before I have all my walls built would be advantageous, because if I don't drop them the right way, bang, we take out some walls. So now's the time to get these guys down. I don't need to harvest. There's 4 really nice ones here. But I'm looking at these first 3 lower on the hill. The 4th one behind the camera, I could probably drop up the hill and get it from that way. But these 3 are the one I was looking at right now. There's these twins here that are side by side. They're not a double trunk. They're not connected. They're just really close to one another. Decent sized looking poplar. And then the other one is further down, and I'll show you it here in a second. It's got some issues. So the twins here growing close together, decently straight. Right twin has a dog leg at about 15 feet. Left twin has a dog leg at about 20 feet. Obviously I can cut around that. We can, above and below both of those dog legs are good logs. So not a big deal there. A little bit of loss. And of course poison ivy growing on. That's the way it works around here. Diameter wise, chest height to be a proper, about 11.5 on the right twin, and probably about the same on the left twin. Actually, she's just a little bit bigger. She's 12. It's a 12-inch and 11.5-inch diameter. Yeah, decent, easy to mill, nothing crazy. So let's look at the third guy here. So number 3 is a much bigger poplar, but you can see it has a dog leg right here at about 8 feet. Diameter wise, she is 14. So that's a good log to mill. The thing that makes it extra interesting is this. This is a grapevine. And this grapevine, we got our tape out here. That tape vine is a 2.5-inch diameter grapevine. So it comes out of the ground, it grows right at the base of that poplar, and actually grew up in the crotch of this other little oak. But a good bit of the canopy is in the poplar. Well, if you can see it right in through here, if I get the camera on it. So that is always an issue. When you go to cut, it's like having a rope or a chain tied to it. You just don't know where it's going to go. We'll definitely sever it here at the ground. Probably sever it in multiple places. I'll cut it off at the ground, and even cut it off high here so it doesn't whack me in the back of the head while I'm working. But the fact that it's lashed to that oak and that treetop of that poplar, it may not go where I want it to go. And you can see here, one of these ironwood, again, I got to figure out if those are hawthorn or not. I never look them up. This guy's got a pretty big bow. He's almost touching that poplar tree there. So we're not going to want that to create a kick out opportunity. So we're going to have to take him out. Just let him, we'll cut him off at the base, let him fall. And then I think the plan for all 3 of these trees is to send them that way. That would be my safest bet. If I try to send them back toward the camera, then I don't have a way to really drag them out of the valley. And obviously I don't want to send them right down on my corral. That would be bad news. And this poplar I could possibly send that way and get the treetop from there, but that is risky. And there's another little oak. There's a white oak right here that it lines up perfectly with that line, so it would make that tough to do. So So I think what I'm going to do instead of making a huge mess all at once is make a huge mess in steps. So I think I'm going to put the twins on the ground first, trying to drop them right over my left shoulder. And then I'll go get the tractor, cut the logs out that I want, skid them on down to the sawmill, and just see what kind of mess that leaves me with the top, see what kind of other tree damage I get, collateral damage if you will, and see how that affects dropping big boy here. So we'll address these first, and then we'll come look at the third one. And that, boys and girls, is what you don't want it to do. You know, sometimes it's just better to be lucky than good. So I don't know if it came out in that video well enough to see all the perspectives there, but first tree obviously got hung in a second little elm, I believe. And so it got hung almost at 45 degrees. And that was a bit of a drag. So kind of took a chance, thought maybe I could drop the second one right on the top canopy of the first one. And they both come tumbling down. And they did. And they actually took out this hawthorn, which was good because they would have been wedged between it. The thing I got to do is still got to release this. And the back tree is actually sitting on the top back there. And I don't like to release treetops like this on the downhill side. So I got to figure out how to release her easy. I have to work my way at the top, come this way, and see how much she's going to move. And then we use the winch to drag it down some. And then I think if I can get it down to the bank here, cut a length, take it, and that'll leave the rest of the log here versus way up on the mountain, and be able to drag it around as well. So I got plenty of room to get the tractor in. Like I said, just releasing the top from the logs is the next tricky thing to do. I know some of you guys probably grimace at me taking off my PPE, but that I got a new hard hat. That thing drives me absolutely nuts. It rides up on my forehead, too much front weight. The ear protection isn't exactly lined up, and so I need to get something new there. It's funny, the buddies that I know that are sawyers, they always laugh about hard hats, that it's not going to do you any good. It's basically a bucket for your buddy to scoop up your brains when you get hit in the head with a tree, because the hard hat's not going to stop a 2,000-pound log from going through your head. But where's the fun in that, right? All right, let's do some releasing. Loose the hounds. Well, as with any red tool house project, that was fairly effortless. Cracks me up. I get envious watching some of these other channels where guys are milling and they've got all this flat land where they go in the woods and, oh, I'm going to pick this tree, and they got a little two-wheel drive tractor and they pull it out of the woods with a two-wheel drive tractor, and it's just effortless. I'm here straining my guts over the side of a hill. Yeah, it is what it is, right? It's the price you pay to live in paradise. So I am heavily contemplating whether or not to cut the third tree down. I know I'll regret it if I don't do it now, but right now I don't feel like it. But I'm going to take a little drink, have a little rest, and regroup. All right, so I decided the show must go on, right? So we're going to put the big boy on the ground here. Hopefully I can get it on the other side of that elm tree that I got the twins on. We'll see. It gives me like a 6-foot canopy window up there, which would have to be pretty tight. Let me get this hawthorn out of the way and this grapevine cut free. And I want to show you something with this grapevine. This is kind of neat, kind of an old wilderness survival thingy. So the trick is, and this one's not running very good, but if you ever find yourself in the woods, thirsty, and you got a chainsaw, no, and you've got a small saw or knife or something, you can cut into a grapevine. It may need to have a full canopy. This one doesn't. And the water that comes out of this grapevine, I cannot get that to focus in. The water that comes out of that vine is very clean and very drinkable, and nice little clean source of water. But you can see that vine's got some core rot in it. So, oh, we got it pouring out this end. Fortunately, my hands aren't clean. Just kidding. Very clean. Full of ants, however. You can see the ants right there on the... Okay, so these two trees in the background are our goalposts. So that one and that one. I want to drop that tree right in betwixt those. As you can see, their canopies start to come together at the top. Yummy. Oh, I wish I hadn't hung. Do not do that with poison ivy vine, however. Well, not the outcome I was looking for. Got a pretty good hanger there. She's wedged really well, so it's wedged up in the canopy, and then it's wedged at the butt here against this small hickory. And I think she's going to stay there for a while. I'm going to let nature take its course. Sometimes these things correct themselves in a windstorm or just a subtle movement, or maybe that little elm that's holding it up decides to give up the ghost. I was able to get the butt log and another 10-foot log out of it. The butt log was pretty short. Really what I wanted was this next section, the next 10 feet. Actually, the next 20 feet are pretty clear. That's the breaks though. But I got the two twins, got the logs that I wanted out of them drugged down. And so we definitely have enough to mill our corral here. And fortunately, this hanger isn't over top of our workspace. The only issue is if this hanger continues to hang and I've got boars in here, I always run a risk of flat Stanley, so we want to avoid that. One thing I could do is I could get up on this side with my come along, and if I could manage to get a cable up in the canopy of that and winch it that way, I could possibly get it back. But we're not going to try that today because we are tired, we are aggravated, and we are hungry. So we're going to call it quits. All right, take care, everybody.